Hi, my name is Lori Allen. I work as the coordinator for digital scholarship and services at Haverford College in the library. We decided that we really wanted to move more aggressively into supporting digital scholarship and to bring together the folks within the library and around campus who had already been working on supporting scholarship in digital forms and get them working sort of in the same direction. And so my role as coordinator for digital scholarship and services is to sort of lead that effort. I work now with a colleague who's the digital scholarship librarian, Mike Zarafanides, and we hired him a little less than a year ago. He started in December, so we took that first semester to hire him, and we built a great store of students who've been fantastic collaborators and team members on this project. Mike brings a real close relationship with the scholarship itself, as well as a great set of technical skills. And the student workers that we've hired, we have 6 right now, and they're a mix of students with a strong interest in digital humanities specifically, or I have a student who's a chemistry student who's fantastic with visualization, and he loves it. He's smart and he's great at thinking through the tools we need, and so he's working on that. And then we have a set of students who are computer science students who work on developing projects and documentation so that we can build a set of tools that our whole campus can use to create digital projects. And what we're trying to do is make it really expand the capacity at Haverford to support scholarship in new forms, to help faculty and students ask traditional questions in their disciplines and use new ways to answer those questions, and also to start to ask questions that they couldn't have asked before. We really are trying to provide some infrastructure and at the same time help people imagine new ways of doing the work that they're interested in doing. A faculty member in the classics department asked his students to create a Wikipedia page about a classical author, or a lesser-known classical author, or a lesser-known classical work. And I was there for backup if the students run into trouble, and I was, it was a really nicely framed assignment, and I think they did fantastically well with it. So that's like a sort of one example that's happened. Another, a class that we're working with this semester, and Mike and I went in already and talked to them about thinking about Google. It's a class that is looking at the role of images of American Jews, so Jewish images, how they're used by Jews and others, and we went in and talked about using Google as a way to find images and what kinds of assumptions are inherent in a Google search, sort of tips and tricks for doing them, but also thinking about what are the limitations of Google and what does it stop you from doing, or what is it, where might it play more a role in the sort of content that you're finding that you might know. And we'll be going in later in the semester to help them imagine their final projects. And what we're going to do is kind of present with a colleague from IT who works in digital media. The 3 of us are going to present sort of 4 different technologies that they might use to create a final exhibit or project. They might use Omeka, they might use something like Tumblr, they might make a little film, and they might use, we haven't sort of settled on the 4th technology, but we'll come up with something. A lot of the work we've done has been more closely tied to faculty research projects at this point. The biggest project we've probably worked on is a project with an economics professor who studies microfinance, and he sort of hosts a club that there are a bunch of student participants in called the Microfinance Club, and they've undertaken a project based on his interest in gathering information about how the geographic locations of microfinance actual offices, so rather than the branches, but where the actual locations of offices are, how the impact of the geographic distribution of microfinance opportunities affects or is affected by other geographic factors. So are people who are poor with low access to water, are they also less likely to have access to finance, for instance? And that's been a really, really interesting project that we've worked on with that club. They get together every Wednesday night, we all have pizza and make maps. And so we've been involved in the technical end of supporting that and a little bit of sort of managing that project. Open access is certainly something we've talked about. I mean, in terms of the microfinance work, that's really designed to produce data that everyone can use. So that's what we're aiming for. Faculty throughout Haverford, as throughout many institutions, have different sort of takes and requirements about open access. We certainly want to encourage it. We're kind of in the background right now working on taking what is a long-standing project that my colleague Norm Medeiros has run for ages to create a faculty bibliography that he's done. I mean, the work there is so rich that we have this fantastic bibliography of the faculty publications. And in the background, we're working on figuring out which of those are available at open access, and we hope to use that to start conversations around campus, which are already going on, but which we hope to really encourage about helping faculty understand their opportunities in terms of open access. I mean, just that we're at the very beginning. I think it's Mike was hired less than a year ago. We just got our student staff up more recently than that, and we're excited. It's at the beginning, and we're learning constantly. Every week we're kind of blown away by how much we've learned and how far we've come. I think as we begin to build these toolboxes that we're focusing on, I think they might be something that we could really share. I look forward to that.